I'm going to try this, and I know for a fact uh, it's awkward because I say thank you to the people who started watching this channel, and this is intended for those people. Um, Might be no one, but I'll try anyway. I'm trying to inform people exactly what you have, the contents of what this is, and there's plenty of these videos trying to explain the channel itself, but I'm going to try putting some other things here. What I am and what I'm not. Um, I'm not a paranormal channel. I'm not that. My content is some of the paranormal here. There's always the idea of trying to take down the paranormal content here and simply do this as a gaming channel, which would be pretty boring. Um, the content that's here is basically, I always call it Derby Girl. The original idea that was supposed to be a book idea, and it never quite took flight. One of those ideas you say that just really doesn't really jive. Many times over because basically I'm not an artist, not a comic book artist anyway. And writing for me has always been something at this age. I'm close to 70 years old now. So writing doesn't come naturally like it does when I'm 20 years old. So many times over when I'm doing things and you say, well, let's see, I'm headed towards YouTube, and YouTube's guidelines put me into, well, you're in the wrong niche. So anything I'm doing here, babbling on, is trying to clarify what this is, the content is what this is. There's a lot of things about what this is, the content itself, that is complicated to explain because basically I'm trying to do a book idea, or I like using the word opera. And there's things, ideas here everywhere. So it becomes confusing. You get into avatars. This avatar is called Moody Hope. This is what I said when someone's watching content and they say, "Hey, I got what is this? Who are you talking to?" Addressing this character. I'm addressing this character in the video, which may sound strange, which it is. But this is what I always say, the first part, clarifying. When you first see the video, who are you talking to? This character, Hope. Or now I call her Moody Hope. Game of Four is a combination of a lot of garbage. I use the word garbage because you're basically looking at manga, you're looking at comics, you're looking at books, you're looking at movies, you're looking at content, which has been sitting on my drafting table now for over 30 years. Someone going to cons, walking around, admiring other artists, comic book writers, a huge comic book fan. A person with baggage issues, and then all of a sudden you have a great idea. You have something you keep on thinking, I wish I could sit down and write the idea and put it into a situation where I can say, for once, the character is a very great character. I still say many years over, needed right now. From there, this idea, which is basically something on my drafting table, it sat there for many years and constantly just in my head. You try to write out a scene, and I could write it in my head. I can still act it in my head. From there, in 2020, is when I still say paranormal came in. A lot of things. The attempt to put something with that and say something with that is still a combination of trying to debunk things, try to figure out what's moving in my kitchen after 5 years later. And the other part is simply just trying to take advantage of what I'm trying to learn as an artist from that type of influence. When people look at the content of what I put up very recently, which is Savior, God, and Raven King, the influence is from the paranormal. It comes from some of it from the EVP, which is God must save us, come quick, persist, and then along, whatever. But that content is coming from, that is the inspiration for that content. The other things I look at from Raven King is basically from Game of Four. The character himself is basically based on two things. Earth. I like using the word tierra. Raven King really is a depiction of the earth. The woman that's there is basically part of the AI generated a woman character, which I said, wow, that is fascinating. The woman character is Tyr, the beloved Tyr. The idea for Raven King is something kind of cryptic. Raven King is the earth crying out for its dead in some ways. And then the actual mistress, his woman, is usually depicted in Game of Thrones version always in a wedding dress, a wedding gown. She always approaches him, and in my, I'm going to call it religious mythology, you could say, if you want to call it that, she is the one he makes love to. She takes his head, in a sense, to the devil, you could say. And essentially what happens is that when she does appear, she's always in a wedding gown. She goes to marry him. And what he does, is essentially pushes her back. He always rejects her. That idea is based on reality. That is more like I call the doomsday clock. Always pushing it back. Close, I will not be wed, is what he says to her. He pushes her back. The idea of doing Game of Four is trying to do basically an idea of time and trying to do, you could say, like an opera, something big scale, big themes, and essentially trying to pull it off. I'm not a person who is typically social. I'm not a person who likes talking on a microphone. I'm not a person who is looking for a large following. Many times over, when I look at people on YouTube, I get turned off. YouTube is commercial, social media. YouTube is more of a product. I'm not a product. I still call myself a movement in many ways over. I'm an artist. And what I'm trying to do is express myself with these ideas. So when I look at people following me, it's always a feeling of thank you. And also, oh no. Oh no. You know what I mean? Because basically there's pressure to try to produce this content. The idea of trying to become monetized is not here in the cards. It is this. Can you pull off this idea? Can you do Derby Girl and finally show people what the heck is that idea? Can you pull it off? Can you do it? This is one of those things you say to yourself where, like a James Cameron thing, you wait for the technology. I never thought I'd have the technology here. And now a chance to pull it off. Writing for me at this age doesn't come from me sitting down with a typewriter. Or here's an outline. These are my outlines. Some of the ideas. Can you produce the Odyssey? The Odyssey is a dance palace, dance acts. I started doing that as a bookend part. Delphi, which is basically dealing with the Greek as a city in the middle of a clock, you could say. So that theme itself, I haven't done that theme. I started writing it in my head. A lot of things with Game of Four, its writing style, I'm trying to learn more tech where I can start making my long shorts better. My improvement in this channel is going to be doing longer forms. I always say I'm comfortable with the shorter forms. When I'm doing this channel, I'll always experiment. I still would do that. I'm trying to see, can you do all these different styles? And there's so many things I try to experiment with here. You're trying to do something which is more about entertainment, trying to do horror, and that part is still where I get scared. How much can I do here? I don't really know. Trying to do Derby Girl and trying to show what she's doing. The derby is not just a hat on her head. It's been difficult trying to get an AI to recognize what a derby is. And then you put in something that's entirely different, what she's doing with the derby, is where things become complicated. The father figure is a biker, with him trying to put in someone who keeps on becoming revised over and over again. Someone is playing what's called a game of four, a game of time. And the person, the father, keeps on becoming revived constantly by his daughter. Someone is using the word cookie to essentially what they're doing is rendering the father figure back again and again. He passes on. He's dying in some ways. She keeps on bringing him back. And trying to show what this is what I call Game of Four. Game of Four, I always look at it and try to complain it, try to talk to people. You're trying to look at something, say Dune, or trying to reference something like Lord of the Rings. This is my Lord of the Rings. An attempt to do something, not anything in content like that, but in complexity to what that is. Because the styles of writing, the styles of different things, I never thought I'd be doing it through YouTube. So that's the problem. The problem I've always had, I'm trying to do that idea. I'm not doing writing because I'm not a 20-year-old. So I'm doing it as a 70-year-old man. So when I'm doing this, I'm trying to write at the top of my head. I'm trying to play with different types of technology. I'm experimenting. Can you do what this is? And I still say the answer is probably yes. So Game of Four is what I call an opera. A big idea, huge idea with ideas. And trying to do it with technology and learn it and try to put in what I want to do is what I'm trying to do on Game of Four. Long-winded, and I apologize to people coming into this channel and thinking this is a gaming platform, or this is a paranormal platform, or this is, what exactly is it? This is what I call an X channel, an X channel, which means not too many people watch it. It may turn into intellectuals. It might be a selected few people that get into it and enjoy the content. I hope they do. There's something for everyone on this channel. And I still say that for the 50 people who are subscribing to me, whether you stay with me or not, thank you.